Nintendo has a new rival. Now, when you look at 3D platformer games, who do you think of? Mario, yes. Mario is correct. And now we got a new challenger has approached because Sony released their Astrobot yesterday, and it's a game that really rivals Mario because you're able to essentially feel the world around you, and the game just looks beautiful. There's a whole bunch of different levels, a whole bunch of different places to explore. There's a bunch of different enemies and a bunch of different feeling fixes. You can feel yourself the metal, you can feel a whole bunch of stuff, like a plethora of things in the game. Now, in Mario Odyssey, because that was the latest pretty much 3D game for Nintendo, that game is about 7 years old, and it kind of sucks that Nintendo didn't really capitalize when they were on the top. But now Sony releases Astrobot, and Astrobot is probably gonna take the cake for one of the best 3D platformers out there. Now, Mario is probably still on top because it's more well known than Astrobot. But seeing how the games are going right now, you can only assume, how is Nintendo going to handle this? Are they going to release another Mario Odyssey game on the Switch 2? Or are they just going to leave it and stick to their 2D Mario? I highly doubt it that they're not going to make another Mario Odyssey. That was the biggest game back in 2018. And it still is one of the best 3D platformers to this day. You can capture things, you can use your imagination to solve different puzzles, and it was just a really fun game. Now, if Nintendo were to get the technology to make something like Astrobot similar, you're able to feel the world, you're able to see if it's hot and cold. That was apparently a leak or something, but I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing. You can feel like if you're in the desert, your controller is hot, and if you're in the winter, your controller gets cold, kind of like the Sony PlayStation 5, where you're able to feel things and the controller changes the triggers when you're shooting a bow, or if you're doing something else, you're fisting, or whatever the case may be. And this rivalry maybe will push Nintendo to release a game that is even better than the first one. And that would be really amazing. Now, Astrobot is a fantastic game. The game is full of so many surprises, and it's even linked in with some of the biggest PlayStation UIs. You got things like God of War, Ratchet and Clank, a whole bunch of other PlayStation things. Now, if you were to compare Astrobot to a 7-year-old Mario game, that wouldn't really be fair. Unless Nintendo decides to release another 3D platformer game, maybe you can do that. But, in my opinion, I still think that Nintendo and Mario is still on the top of the food chain. Because Mario has been out for a long time. A long time. And as best as Sony can try to take out the popularity and hype of Mario, I don't think it's going to happen. At least not yet in the next 10 years or so. But it could possibly happen. If Nintendo really does ooey gooey mess up, it could happen. But I don't think so. Nintendo and Mario is still a very fantastic game. Even though some of them are copy and paste of pretty much the same game and then rebranding it, the 2D Marios. But we're not talking about those. We'll be talking about the 3D Marios, because the 3D Mario games are completely different than the 2D games, besides maybe the look. Anyways, what do you think about this? Do you think that Astrobot will take the cake as the best 3D platformer out there? Or do you think there's already a better 3D platformer than Mario and Astrobot? Let me know. Now, also, I wanted to quickly mention on this topic. Now, since Astrobot just released yesterday, and the game's already selling like hotcakes, it got a 9 on Metacritic or whatever, or a 94 or something on Metacritic. And wowzers, that game, whew, it took off because everyone likes the little cutesy Astrobot art and being able to feel the world around you. That I found really really cool. There's even some parts that I'm not gonna spoil it, but you're able to essentially use weapons from different games, and it's pretty fantastic. But you know, Astrobot, it just feels like you're waking up on Christmas morning and you pop in that game and you're like, there's so many new mechanics and features. What? This game's amazing. Like something like that. And that is just like the best feel, like playing a game that feels different than the last one. Now you could argue that this is basically Astro's Playroom Part 2, but it's not. You didn't really have to pay for Astro's Playroom. Astro's Playroom was just a demo to what's to come. And now you gotta pay for it, and the adventure is like 4 times bigger and it's 4 times better. Now you can say that about Mario. Well, Mario, on the other hand, the adventure is big and better. You know, it's big and open, and you get to see all your familiarized characters like Bowser, Peach, and it's a whole lot of fun. There's a whole lot of different things to really do in those Mario games. Because like when you're on a certain mindset, maybe you want to see some of your favorite characters because like, hey, you know them, you recognize them from different games. But like, what if they're new? Like they're new characters. Like maybe the dinosaur from Astro, what is it? Astro VR, I think? Who knows? Anyways, what do you think about this? Do you think Mario is the king of platformers, Astrobot, or some completely different 3D platformers, by the way? Yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, what should I call this? This interesting video of Nintendo's rivalry with PlayStation. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. I hope that, you either try out Astrobot or you try out Mario if you haven't already. Anyways, thank you, and I hope you have a great day and see you next one.